What's going on, everyone? It's Bales, and welcome back to another AFL Fantasy Captains video ahead of round 20. Difficult week to put together this list. A lot of good options this week, and I think a lot of people can go in different ways with their captains and vice captains this week. It's going to be really interesting to see what people choose to do. And this list probably isn't quite finalised. I think there's a couple of things and teams I want to see first as well. And then obviously the final list, I'll say my pre-lockout chat as I always do. But I obviously do these videos on Thursday, so I thought I'd put my list out as it currently is. There as well, and obviously if there's any updates I'll tweet out and everything like that as well with the list. But yeah, in terms of last week with our captains, a bit sort of hit and miss with our top five. We had Tim English at number one, score the 116 points. Then we had a Ryan Marshall with a 118 in second, and then obviously we had three. We had Butters 88. Bont 95 and Nank 67. So obviously Nank got subbed out injured. Bont was playing that really muddy game, and then Butters just didn't really get involved. So I thought that top five was actually going to go a lot better than it did, but it is what it is. So let's try and get these top five nailed on for you guys this week. But as always, before we get into the top five, if you're enjoying the content around here, make sure you smash a big thumbs up on the video. That is very much appreciated. 100 likes is the goal on the captain's videos. And also put in the comments below, are you guys enjoying the captain's videos? It seems like everyone is at the moment. So obviously, end of the season, we'll sort of reevaluate how the content's going. If people are enjoying the captain's videos, I'll keep going it. So if you are enjoying it, put in the comments below that you're enjoying the captain's videos. And make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already as well. I think we're only 2 or 3 away from 2.6k subscribers. Then we will move on to 2.7 with the big goal of 3k the next one. So let's get stuck into our top five for the week. And at number one, I'm going with Errol Goulden. Errol's here for a number of reasons, I think. I think one is just his sort of safety, is that he just hits a good score more often than not. He had those back-to-backs against Freo and St Kilda with 82 and 90, but outside of that, he hasn't. From round 10, he's gone 116, 119, 151, 127, 154, 151, and 113, with obviously the 82 and the 90 in round 16, 17. So he's been really good. Minus those two scores, actually, 4 of his other scores since the bye have been over 125. So he's been big when he goes big, and especially the SCG as well. Like his last 4 scores there, 116, 151, 82, and 151. So the 82 was against Freo when they got beaten. So not great score. And he was only on I think it was 30 or something at half time, and he had a really good second half there to get there. And also, he scored a 119 against the Dogs at Marvel in round 11. He was over 100 at three-quarter time. Just had a quiet last quarter that sort of slowed that down. But we know for a fact he can end the game well. So I like Goulden. I've got it at number one for that. And he's got the ceiling as well. So that's why he's there at number one. Number 2, I've got the X-Man, Tristan Xerri. This could slightly change if Reece Stanley is named, which I do think he will, but I'm putting Cherry here on the basis that they haven't named him for the last few weeks. So I'm going to put Cherry at 2. If Cherry's up against De Koning and Blitzarves, I think he'll essentially eat them alive. His obviously tackles are always great. I think his hit-outs will be right up there. And I think he'll go well. Obviously, we know Geelong have been a great matchup for rucks so far this season, especially with De Koning and Blitzarves there. And Cherry's been really good. 3 of his last 4 weeks have been really solid. The only one that wasn't was against Grundy, but he's still got a 9 in 4, which is solid. But the other 3 scores, he's gone 129, 118, and 124. So, and they've been good matchups, like against Tim English, Ned Moyle, and Pitney / De Koning. So even in a wait, no, hang on. Pitney wasn't named in round 19. No, it's just De Koning, sorry. So he's gone well in easy matchups. So I think he will. The only reason I don't have him at number 1 is just I don't think can hit the ceiling as he hasn't shown a 130 plus ceiling yet. So that's probably why I've got Goulden ahead, just because of that. And you can go Cherry VC into a Goulden anyway if you want to do that. So I've got Cherry at 2. At number 3, I've got Zach Merritt. St Kilda, I just like the matchup. Obviously, Windhager's still injured. I believe Seb Ross is still injured as well. And we know St Kilda are a good matchup, especially for people that don't get tagged. And if there is no tag, I think he'll go well. Yeah, Seb Ross out for 4 to 5 weeks, so he's still out. And Windhager's still another 3 weeks away. So I don't see who tags him. And I just think Merritt's going to go really well. Under the roof at Marvel, Eston coming off that close loss to the Crows last week. captain. They need to win this game to make sure they stay in the 8 and sort of stay in touch with the top 4. So I think Merritt will bounce back with a good score. I know he got 109 last week. I guess the one thing on knock on Merritt this year is he hasn't shown his ceiling that we've seen. He's only had one score over 130, which was in round 4 against Port, very interesting that it was against one of the most restrictive teams. And he also has only hit one score of 120 plus since round 7, which was against Collingwood at the MCG. And that game he slowed right down. So I don't know if it's just being a bit more unselfish this year from Merritt not getting those big numbers up, but he's going to hit a big score at some point, and it could be this week in a big game for the Bombers. So I like Merritt in this game here, and I think he could go quite well. At number 4, I've got Harry Sheezel. 2 of his last 3, he's gone 134. He's been great. The one in between was against Sydney. He got a 79. He still had 29 disposed, but he had a lot of handballs, 4 marks, no tackles. I just think he didn't get tagged that game, but obviously we know Sydney are hard to score against, especially at the SCG, but they sort of were wary of where Sheezel was. They made sure he was under pressure all the time when he got the ball, so I think that was contributed to his lower score there. But even in this role as well, I feel like he's, as a non-owner of Sheezel, I've watched him closely, just sort of hoping that he wasn't going to go big while I don't own him, but I feel like he's getting more used to this role. He's rolling up the ground even more than what he was at the very beginning. He was still going up high, but it feels like now he's playing at half full, but he's getting back as well at half back and getting those plus 6s that I didn't see as much when he started in this role. But I feel like he's getting more used to this role, hitting those ceilings again. He's got a 159 against Geelong earlier this year. Granted, that was at half back. He still took 15 marks, so he put up a really good score there. Am I expecting a 159 again? Probably not, but he can obviously hit that there. He had 38 touches that day as well, so really good. Kicked a goal, so I think he could go pretty well again. He's got him in consideration here, and I've got him at number 4, and there's an argument that he could even be higher. I think if a Stanley was named, he could even bump to number 3, and there's an argument he could be ahead of Merritt as well because he's hit the ceiling more than Merritt. And at number 5, I've got Nick Dacos, and this has probably surprised me a bit because when I originally looked at this matchup, maybe like a month ago, I saw Richmond for Dacos. I thought, oh, great, this is going to be a great match. He's probably going to be number 1 captain option that week, and we'll go him. The reason I don't have him any higher than 5 at the moment is just because Collingwood are just not playing very well, and that's shown in Dacos' numbers of recent. So since since the Melbourne game where he got 62 and got tagged by Neil Bullen, he had a good patch from round 8 to round 12 where he went 122, 131, 115, 133, 110. But his last 6 scores have been 62, 98, 115, 102, 85 and 87. So 4 of those scores have been under 100, which is not great. And he's not going to get tagged because Graham's not going to be there. But I just don't know if he's going to... He's not hitting that ceiling as much as what he was last year, right? He's only had the 2 scores over 130 this year, and they're in the span of 3 weeks. Outside of that, he's only had a further 2 games over 120. So he's been solid, especially as defender, but that ceiling that we saw last year, like constantly hitting 120, 130, 140 last year, just not there. And especially in this mid-roll as well, he's not taking those marks to get those ceilings. That's why I've got Dacos a little bit lower, but I still think he'll go solid anyway. I think he'll still go over 100 and could put up a 110, 120 there. Some of the other options there coaches could consider this week. So Whitfield, for me, could go one or 2 ways. It could be really, really good, or could just be solid. And I'm leaning to solid. That's why I don't have him in the top 5. And I probably don't have him in the 10 at the moment, just because I've just got a gut feeling Neil Bullen goes to Whitfield. When Melbourne are going to be looking at this game, they need to win this game to stay in touch with the top 8. Who do you stop at Giants? I think Whitfield's the guy, and Neil Bullen's there. He plays the half forward with some CBAs, but I feel like they'll just do a hard tag with Neil Bullen on Whitfield. We know that Neil Bullen can go with these guys that can just run. He went with Dacos and kept him to a 62. I feel like he'll go with Whitfield in this game, which is why I'm expecting a bit of a lower score from Whitfield this week. But if he doesn't get tagged, Whitfield could go big in this game. So plays Saturday night. Could definitely be a VC option that you throw to him there. But I just feel like he'll get tagged. That's why I just don't have him in my top 5 or probably my top 10. Sarong, I like. West Coast, good matchup. Has a good recent history against West Coast. He's won, I think, 1 or 2 of the medals in the Derby. So I like Sarong there in a good matchup. Zorko obviously scored big against Gold Coast earlier this year. Obviously a bit of an anomaly game there, but I still feel like he could go okay there. Tom Shu against North. North have been tricky to score on lately. And I guess he doesn't have that consistent ceiling that we could sort of look to. He's obviously gone 125 in 2 of his last 3 games, which has been good, and this role could allow him to hit those ceilings. I just don't know if it'll be against North at Blundstone this week. I think it'll be more in another game. Bont, he's got a good history. Bont against Sydney and at the SCG, so he's averaged 104.9 in his 13 games against Sydney and 113.7 at the SCG in his 6 games. I just think Sydney are a different beast this year. Like, they're so much hard to score against. We've seen so many players struggle to score against them. He got it. I think got a 90-something against Sydney, 98 against them earlier in the year at Marvel. I just don't know if he's going to hit that ceiling. But Bont's that guy that can hit that ceiling in any given week. So, yeah, I don't know if I'd go Bont this week. Nick Martin would be really good if I knew that he was playing at half back. I just don't know if I can trust him as much to hit that ceiling as often as what he was in defence. So, got a 145 against St Kilda early in the year in half back. He did get a 143 against Melbourne 2 weeks ago. And if he's ever going to hit a score like that, it could be against St Kilda. I just don't know if I've got the trust to throw, especially a VC on him when I'm not sure sort of what role he's going to play. But again, as a VC, could be a guy you definitely look to because he could put up a good score. So Brayshaw, yep, I like him as well. Obviously, last few games against West Coast haven't been great for him, but he's been the guy that's been tagged. If anyone's going to get tagged, it's going to be Sarong. I don't think he will, and 3 of his last 5 have been really good. Brayshaw, 3 of those over 120. The other 2, Sydney at the SCG. Obviously, we mentioned how tough they are to score against, and then the Hawthorn game where no one scored well, except for the 2 rucks and Jordan Clark. So Brayshaw, I like. Cripps, Port, restrictive. I wouldn't look at him this week. Marshall, I like still, even in a tough matchup. He's got the ceiling. Could be the guy you look at VCing. Obviously, just be wary. This is a game that you could easily see Tom Campbell being named for. If Draper and Goldstein are named, could be like a late in or something. So I'd just be wary of that. But if he's solo, and especially if it's just one of Draper or Goldstein, I think he could be okay. Flans against Brisbane. Brisbane are a tough matchup. I wouldn't look at Flanders this week. We've only seen him go 1 good score this year in that midfield role. Treloar, I think he gets tagged by Adams. I think it'll be like Rowbottom will go to Bont, I think. If Dale's going to get tagged, it will be from a Jordan. And I think Adams will go to Treloar, or even a Jordan goes to Treloar. So I'm not sure I'd look at that. And again, Sydney is not a matchup you want to be looking at. Lockie Neal against Gold Coast could be pretty solid. I like him there. He's shown a ceiling when he's not tagged. So like him. Like Tom Green and Josh Dunkley this week. Tom Green, Melbourne, great matchup. I don't see him getting the tag there. And Dunkley as well against Gold Coast. 151 against them earlier in the year in that weird game. But career average of 115 in 9 games against Gold Coast. So he's been really good against them. So I think he'll bounce back after a poor one. Butters, obviously you're not looking at him this week. People are looking at trading him out. Chincotta will go to him on Friday night. Went to him earlier in the year and he only scored a 74. So Butters will get the tag. I don't see him putting up a good one. I don't think he can go Gawn off injury if he's named. So really could be a smoky. St Kilda, great matchup for defenders. I don't know if I'd VC him. I think there are better options in the game. But if you want to throw a dart and go something really unique that could go big, it could be Ridley there. Obviously, whilst you're not looking at people looking at trading him out, same with Butters, but Port restrictive, so I wouldn't look at him. And Steele, don't mind. Essendon being sort of neutral, so Steele could go okay. I just think there are probably better options this week. And he's not here on the list. But if Gawn's not named, if you've got Kieran Briggs, I wouldn't mind throwing a VC on him because against a ruckless Melbourne, he could get a lot of tackles in that game, get a lot of hit-outs, and could be good. So Briggs I'd keep on the watch list if Gawn is not named, if you've got him. So, but yeah, I think Gawn will be named, so you're probably not looking at it. But in terms of my 6 through 10, at number 6, I have got, where was he? Was down the list here. Oh, no, there he is. Josh Dunkley, yeah. Josh Dunkley at number 6. I just think he'll respond after that game. And Gold Coast, without Took, have been a bit easier to score against as well. And I think Dunkley will respond after a poor one. So I've got him at number 6. At number 7, I've got Caleb Sarong. Obviously, we saw a good score last week. Good history against West Coast of recent, and in a good matchup, I think he'll go well. So I've got him at 7. At number 8, I have got Andrew was it Andrew Brayshaw? Yeah, I got Andrew Brayshaw at number 8. No. Scratch that. No, sorry, it was Tom Green. Yeah, Tom Green at 8 and Brayshaw was 9. Tom Green, 8. Melbourne, great matchup. I think if there's going to be a game he's going to go 130 plus, it could be this one. So I like Green at 9. 8. Brayshaw is at 9 against West Coast. Good matchup. I think he'll hit a ceiling here. I know he hasn't had a good recent history against West Coast, but I think it's a bit different this time. So I've got him at number 9. And then coming in at number 10, I've got Ron Marshall. And he's there probably just if Campbell's not named. There he is. If Campbell's not named, and he's a solo ruck and it's one of Draper or Goldstein, I think Marshall could go well, even in a tough matchup. He's just got the ceiling though, and he's the number one scoring player for the season, so I think he's still going to be in the top 10 even in a tough matchup there. So and again, if he's solo, I could even bump him up a couple of places because the ceiling. And the other two guys I do like, they're just outside. I don't mind Zorko as a VC. Whitfield, obviously, I mentioned could go well, but also like Lockie Neal could go pretty good in that. And obviously, I mentioned Briggs if no Fullerton. So no Gawn, and it is Fullerton there. So they would be my top 10. But my plan, I've currently got Merritt vice captain into Goulden. This is a week for me that I could go in a couple of different directions. Obviously, I'm 336 points behind 100 spots, so maybe I want to throw like a dart at a Ryan Marshall or a Josh Dunkley, who have got the ceilings that could go big. So I'm sort of tossing up whether I do that. I think I'm still going to go Merritt. I think if there's going to be a game that's going to get a ceiling, it could be this one. So I think I'm still Merritt and then into Goulden. I've obviously considered Cheese as a VC as well. So that's how I'm looking for this week. But let me know in the comments below what you guys are doing with your captain and vice captain this week, and also put in the comments if you've got any other trade question or anything like that, and also your thoughts on the captain's videos as well. Be interested to hear people's thoughts if they're enjoying the captain's videos or not, because it seems to be getting a lot of love. So let me know if you guys are enjoying those there. We're back tomorrow night for the pre-lockout chat at 6 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. per time. As I said, the top 10 isn't like sort of locked in and fully finalised. Probably a couple of things like if Stanley's in or anything like that. So I'll obviously say my final 10 on our pre-lockout chat. But at the moment, I'm pretty happy with the top 10 there. So, but yeah, make sure you tune in to find out who is in the top 10. I'll tweet out as well after our live show. So make sure you stay tuned to that and follow at BalesDT for all that. And then obviously at AFL Fantasy Fans on Twitter as well. But yeah, make sure you smash like on the video. Obviously 100 likes is the goal. If you can hit that goal, it'll be fantastic. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And also if you'd like to ask me a question on Q as well, head over to Ask Me on Q, spelt qu.com/AFL Fantasy Fanatics. We can help with all your trade questions, draft related questions, captains, vice captains, team related questions where you can screenshot your whole team and send it through or type it out. There, and I can send you an audio response helping you with whatever you need, more in depth than what I could give you in the comments section here or as an individual message. So if you'd like to hit that up, link is at the very top of the description as well. So yeah, and also no watch long tomorrow night either. I'm at a family event tomorrow, but watch long will be live on Saturday night. Will be either for the Derby, the West Coast Freo game, or it will be the Giants and Demons game. So just not sure which game yet, but yeah, make sure you guys are tuning into that. So anyway, thanks guys. Have a good couple of days, and we'll catch you guys. We'll have a good night, I should say, and we'll catch you guys tomorrow for a pre-lockout chat. So thanks guys. I'm out. Cheers.